In the last video we left off speaking or mentioning two types of alleles, and one was called dominant and the other one recessive. And we said that the dominant trait is the trait that is stronger, the characteristic that will show up, and it's a little you'll understand as you watch the video as it goes along. And we're going to give the dominant trait a symbol, just like in algebra you give a variable to represent something. So the symbol for the brown eye color is going to be a capital B. And in our example from video 1, the recessive gene was the blue eye color, and so the recessive gene for brown is going to be a lowercase b. And remember, we mentioned the term allele. Right? An allele is a single form. We said it meant other form. An other form of the gene. So we can refer to these as individual genes or alleles. Alright, now in the example that we had for the first video, we had one parent, the father with brown eye color. We had the mother with a blue eye color. And considering what we know about dominant and recessive genes, if you have brown eyes, you can have two possible combinations of genes. You could have a dominant-dominant, right, combination, or you can also have a dominant and recessive combination. Both of these will lead to the person having brown eyes. Right? And if you follow the logic, the only way to get blue eyes would be to have two recessive genes. Right? And what we use to figure out what type of genes and what type of characteristic an offspring will have, we use something called a Punnett Square. Here's our Punnett Square. And the Punnett Square is just a way of finding the different combinations that you can get. So let's say, for instance, that our father gave us, our father who has brown eyes, gave the offspring, or had a possibility of capital B and a small b. And the mother had blue eyes, so her gene combination is going to be two small b's. And our Punnett Square is going to give us all the possible combinations that the offspring can have. So, and it's used kind of like a multiplication table that you had when you were in elementary school. So our possible combination for this box is going to be capital B and small b. And then for this box, and if you notice, all I do is, this small b is going to come here, and this small b is going to come here. And so this combination is going to be two small b's, and then this is going to come here, this is going to come there, right? Let me erase that. And so the combination here is going to be capital and lowercase. And if you notice, you always put the capital letter first. That's just the form that's conventional. And then here, small b, small b. So in this example, the offspring has a possibility of having this combination or this combination. And if it was this combination, then the offspring would have brown eyes. And if it was this combination, the offspring will have blue eyes. Alright? Now both sides of these equations has a specific name. So these letters, which represent the different gene combinations, those are called genotypes. Okay, so the different genotypes I have listed here. We can have two capitals, right? Two dominants. We can have a dominant and a recessive, and we can have to recessive. So those are the different genotypes, the different possibilities. And here, this section are the different characteristics involved. So in our example, you could have brown eyes or blue eyes, and so we call these the phenotypes. Phenotypes. And the phenotypes are the characteristic that shows up. Alright, it's the expressed characteristic, they call it. So you can have two different, for instance, you can have this genotype and you can have this genotype. Alright, so there's two different types of genotypes, but it's going to be expressed as one type of phenotype. Alright, hope that clears things up a little bit. Ask questions in class. Hopefully you understood. Thanks.